Hello and welcome to this tutorial on TweenGMS for GameMaker Studio 2. In this lesson we will be covering tween modes, macros which allow for different behaviors when playing tweens. Let's dive in and check them out. For this lesson I have a test object here which I have added to our test room. And for all of our needs I'm going to add an event, a key pressed event, and spacebar, so that when we press space our examples will play out. Before we continue, I'm going to quickly list and describe the 5 different tween play mode macros. The first one is tween mode once. This will play a tween from start to finish, and that's it. It's the default play mode, and it is as you would expect. The second tween mode is tween mode bounce. This will play a tween from start to finish, and then once it reaches its finished destination it will bounce back and animate backwards back to the beginning values. The third mode is tween mode patrol. This is kind of like tween mode bounce, except that it never finishes. It will keep bouncing back and forth between the start and destination values, and it won't stop unless you manually stop it yourself. The fourth tween mode is tween mode loop. This will play a tween from start to finish, and then it will jump it right back to its starting value and play it all over again, endlessly, playing from start to finish and looping right back to the start and playing through again. The fifth tween mode is a little bit harder to describe, but what it does is it plays a tween from start to finish, and once it finishes, it uses the finished values as a new starting location and continues from that relative position and continues playing from that. And that'll make a bit more sense when we see it in action. Alright, to keep things simple, we are going to use an easy tween script called Tween Easy Move. If you're not familiar with easy tweens, then I suggest checking out my other tutorial video on the subject. I'll leave a link in the description below. But for our needs, we're going to use Tween Easy Move. And we're going to start from our X location and Y location, and we're going to move 200 pixels to the right, and we're going to use the same. We're not going to move the Y location. We want no delay, a duration of 30 steps, and we're going to use the ease in out quad algorithm. And at the end of our script we have an optional argument, which is our mode argument, and this is where we're going to test out our tween mode macros. Again, the first default mode we want to use is tween mode once, and again this will just play our tween from start to finish once, and that's it. So we'll just see that in action here. So I'm going to press spacebar and we move 200 pixels to the right and it finishes, and that's it. Again, as a side note here, if you don't supply the mode argument, tween mode once is used by default. Alright, so now we're going to try out tween mode bounce. And again, this one is going to play the tween from start to finish and then bounce the animation backward to the original starting values. There you go. The third tween mode is going to be tween mode patrol. This one again is similar to tween mode bounce, except that it's going to continue bouncing back and forth between the start and destination values endlessly, and it won't stop unless you manually stop it yourself or pause it or anything like that. The fourth tween mode is tween mode loop. This one will play from start to finish and then loop back to the starting values and continue to play all over again. And again, like tween mode patrol, it won't stop unless you stop it yourself manually. Last of all, we have tween mode repeat. Again, this one was a bit harder to describe, but you'll see in action how this works. It's going to play from start to finish and then use the finish values as a new starting location and continue to play from there. Well, there you go. Those are the 5 Tween Mode macros that you can use with TweenGMS. I'm also going to just quickly show here that these macros correlate to number values, which you can use as well instead of the macros themselves. So for example, Tween Mode once equals 0, Tween Mode bounce equals 1, Tween Mode patrol equals 2, Tween Mode 3 equals Tween Mode loop, and 4 equals Tween Mode repeat. So for example, for this, I can place in here 2 for Tween Mode patrol, and it will work just the same as if I put in the macro. So if you want a shorthand version of this, you can just use the raw number values instead. Well, there we go. There are the 5 different Tween Mode macros included with TweenGMS. I hope you find these useful for all of your needs. Thanks for joining along. I look forward to you joining in the next videos. Bye for now.